Hey everybody, this is Joseph, the Italian New Yorker who's now living here in rural North Dakota. Now I'm all excited because I have my vanilla egg cream, I have my potato Kinish with, as you can see, with my spicy French's spicy brown mustard. And today I'm honoring New York. There's nothing more New York than a potato Kinish and a vanilla egg cream. And the reason why I'm doing it is because, as you may know, we had the passing of the great Met pitcher, Tom Seaver. And I thought I would just kind of honor New York and talk about him. I was a Met fan growing up. My mom was a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and my dad was a San Francisco Giants fan. And of course, in the late 50s, the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles, and the Giants moved to San Francisco. So New York City didn't have a National League team. In 1962, I was about 8 years old. In 1962, they formed a new team called the New York Metropolitans, otherwise known as the Mets. And New York City got another National League team. So my parents started watching the Mets, and so I started watching the Mets. And they were pretty much like the lovable losers. They weren't very good. They were terrible, as a matter of fact. And as a matter of fact, they had the coach, Casey Stengel. Sometimes he used to fall asleep in the dugout. He was pretty old. But over the years, they started drafting players. And one of the first players that they actually drafted was a very young Tom Seaver. We all remember him. He was a great player. He was one of my idols. I definitely loved watching him pitch. I remember we used to go to the games at Shea Stadium. One of the things that I remember was walking out there. And the first time my dad ever took me to a major league ballpark. And I remember looking at the grass. I had never seen grass that green before. It was just so overwhelming. This is in the days when they used to have double headers. You could get 2 games for the price of 1. And we used to go, the Mets had a banner day, and we'd make the banners, and in between the games, all the kids that had banners, all the people, they would march around the field holding up their banners, and then they would choose, they'd give out prizes for the best banners. I remember I used to watch the games on my black and white TV, and a lot of times I would listen to it on my transistor radio. And on the TV, they had a theme song that they used to play, which I think they still do, called Meet the Mets, Meet the Mets. Come right out and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life. But there was another song that they used to play, which was on, they just used to play it on the radio. And I still remember it. It went a little something like this. In all baseball land, there are no fans as grand as our Met fans. When we play other teams, oh, what bloodthirsty screams, that's our Met fans. But when Met fans shout, go, what they mean we all know. We've got no place to go but up. That's because they were awful. They were the lovable losers. But anyway, in 1969, the Miracle Mets, they were 8.5 games out back in August, and behind the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs were in first place, and they started playing unbelievable ball. They had Ed Kranepool at first base, Ron Hunt at second base. I'll never forget this. Buddy Harrelson at shortstop, the glider, Ed Charles at third, Cleon Jones was in left field, Tommy Agee was in center, Ron Swoboda was in right. They had Jerry Grody was behind the plate. They had Tom Seaver, Gary Gentry, and Jerry Kuzman, I think was their second pitcher. Some of the guys that I remember. And all of a sudden they started to win. And in a miraculous turn of events, they won the pennant. And then they went on to face the Baltimore Orioles in the vaunted, the mighty Orioles in the World Series. And they were not expected to win at all. I mean, the Orioles had 4 20-game winners on that team. And they won. They beat the Orioles, and they won the World Series in 1969. We were so excited. I think I was 14 or 15 at the time. My brother had just been born. We used to rub his tushy. He used to change his diaper. We'd rub his tushy for good luck when we were watching the games. It was a real family affair. And of course, after they won the World Series and they became good, they didn't sing that song anymore. We've got no place to go but up. And then they went on to have a number of successful years. In 73 with Tug McGraw, and you got to believe they made it. I think they made it to the World Series, but they didn't win. But and then of course in '86 they won. And then I moved away in 1990. And one of the things that I found was when I was living overseas, people would say, "Oh, you're from New York. You must root for the Yankees." And I say, "No, I'm a Met fan." And they go, "Who? You don't root for the Yankees?" And I root for the Mets. But then a couple of years later, when I moved back, because this is in the mid 90s, about 94, 95, I decided to start following the Yankees because everyone was talking Yankees, Yankees, Yankees. And then, of course, the Yankees, I started following the Yankees. My wife was a Yankee fan. So I kind of switched over to the Yankees. And then Derek Jeter, and they won the World Series in 96, and then they won in 97, and they won in 98. Then they played 2000, that Subway Series, and they beat the Mets in the World Series. And so the Yankees have been doing great. And I've been a Yankee fan ever since. But I still have a warm place in my heart for the Mets and for Tom Seaver. And I mean, like I used to say, I like to make the joke, when you look at the Mets, they have Tom Seaver. When you look at the Yankees, they have Babe Ruth. The Yankees also have Lou Gehrig, and the Mets have Tom Seaver. The Yankees have Joe DiMaggio, and the Mets have Tom Seaver. Yankees have Yogi Berra, and the Mets have Tom Seaver. You get the idea. But I just like to take this time to say hi to my friend Dave, who was a Met fan growing up, my neighbor. We used to watch all the games together, and we used to play ball out in the street, to drink an egg cream, have a Kinish. For Tom, terrific. Thank you for all of the wonderful memories, all of the great years. And I guess I'll have to say it today, one last time. Let's go Mets. I think they're playing the Yankees today, as a matter of fact, while I'm making this video. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you like, please hit like. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And be well. And Tom, terrific. The franchise. Thanks for the memories. We'll see you again. Bye.